Hello card collectors, today on Jay's Cards we're looking at my collection of Gorman Thomas cards. Now Gorman Thomas was the 1969 first round draft pick of the Seattle Pilots. Now making his Major League debut on April 6, 1973, the South Carolina native split time with Milwaukee and his AAA affiliates. In 1975 and 1976, Thomas stayed at the big league level, spending most of his time on the Milwaukee bench, but gaining valuable experience. Following the 1976 season, Thomas spent the entire season at AAA. After that season, he was traded to the Rangers as a player to be named later for Ed Kirkpatrick. This deal was done to free up a roster space for Milwaukee. The following February, Thomas was sold back to the Brewers, never playing a single game for Texas. In 1978, Thomas became the Brewers' everyday center fielder. He seized this opportunity, and he had an on-base percentage of .351 to go with 32 home runs, 82 RBIs, with an OPS plus of 142 and a 3.3 WAR. In 1979, Stormin Gorman came into his own. He had an on-base percentage of .356, 123 RBIs, and a league-leading 45 home runs. This resulted in an OPS plus of 138, a WAR of 4.8, and a 7th place finish in the American League MVP award. Thomas followed 1979 with a strong 1980 campaign, hitting 38 home runs to go with 105 RBIs. During the strike-shortened 1981 season, Stormin Gorman hit 21 home runs to accompany his 65 RBIs, and he had a career-best OPS plus of 146. 1981 also saw his first and only appearance in the Mid-Season Classic. Unfortunately, Thomas could not carry his regular season success against the Yankees in the Division Series. In 1982, Stormin Gorman and the Brewers took the American League East by storm. The center fielder again pummeled American League pitching. It was probably his best season. Thomas had an on-base percentage of .343, an OPS plus of 137, 112 RBIs, and tied for the league lead in home runs with 39. As a result, he garnished a WAR of 4.9, earning him an 8th place finish in the American League MVP vote. However, a September off slump carried over to the postseason, resulting in just 4 hits total against the Angels and the Cardinals in the postseason. Thomas struggled during the opening 6 weeks of the 1983 season, hitting just .209 after 46 games. Thinking that his best years were behind him, Milwaukee traded him with Ernie Camacho and Jamie Easterly to Cleveland for Rick Manning and Rick Waits. In 106 games with Cleveland, Thomas had an on-base percentage of .322 and hit 17 home runs and drove in 51. Despite this turn of events, Thomas led the American League with 197 home runs from 1978 to 1983. Never really adjusting to playing in Cleveland, Thomas requested a trade. The Indians obliged and sent him to Seattle with Jack Perconti for Tony Bernizard. After only 35 games, Thomas was shelved for the remainder of the season after undergoing season-ending rotator cuff surgery in June. At 33, it appeared his career was over. Despite the layoff of 1984, Thomas came back strong in 1985. As Seattle's DH, Thomas swatted 32 home runs and drove in 87. For this turnaround, Stormin Gorman was chosen as the Sporting News American League Comeback Player of the Year. Under new manager Dick Williams, Thomas saw less playing time in 1986. By late June, hitting just .192 with 10 home runs, Seattle released him. He soon re-signed with Milwaukee and served as a DH and a pinch hitter. When the season ended, Thomas retired. Today, Stormin Gorman works under a personal services contract with Milwaukee and makes appearances in the community and welcomes fans to Gorman's Grill at Miller Park. He was elected to the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame in 2003.